Hello friends, this is Parag here, your host on Stay Strong podcast. I started this podcast with the intention to bring you the best information in the field of kettlebell sport, in the field of strength training and nutrition. Today we have a very special guest from Melbourne, Australia. Her name is Cindy, and she has a very long journey to enter into kettlebell sport. She started with karate, and then she moved on to be a boxer. Then she moved on to participate into Ironman competitions, and then lately she introduced herself into kettlebell sport, and in a few years she has climbed up the ladder of success very fast. Can't wait her to introduce you, Cindy from Melbourne. Hello friends, this is Parag here, your host on Stay Strong podcast, and I have a very special guest from Melbourne, Australia, Cindy, and I have been watching her lifts, and I met her in Poland, and it is a privilege for me to interview her on this podcast because she's doing really awesome in her lifting, and since past few years she has picked up very well. She has some incredible records. She has a rank of MSWC, which is Master of Sports World Class 6 times with IKMF. And of course, she has many world records, which was recently broken, which was recently surpassed. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cindy. And of course, she lifts with GSAA, that is Gettlebell Sport Australia Association. And it's been a privilege to welcome Cindy to this podcast.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be interviewed. I don't really get interviewed that often, so it's nice to be able to share, I guess, my journey and my inspiration for other listeners that are out there.
Yes, thank you very much. And up to you. We would like to know your fitness background as well as some professional background.
All right. Well, I guess I have an interesting fitness background in that I have I've represented Australia in quite a few different sports. Okay. So I've been an athlete for about 28 years now. I started in karate, and I did karate for about 17 years and got the rank of 4th dan. Won a world championship with karate, and then I sustained an injury to my knee, and I couldn't continue. And I still had that passion to still fight. So then I became a boxer. So I had had 2 fights with boxing, and then decided my fighting career was over with. And then I looked at the sport of Ironman. So swimming, bike and run. So I did that. Had to face the fear of swimming because I didn't know how to swim, and then somehow managed to win one of my divisions and represent Australia in the age group at the Ironman. Then I retired from that because I kind of pushed myself too far and got really sick, and then decided to try kettlebell sport for something completely different, because I've gone from being a bodyweight athlete to now a strength endurance athlete with kettlebells. As my professional background is, I've been a movement coach for the last 10 years. I have a passion about getting people's bodies to move better, how they feel and how they function, compared to how they look, because I guess the industry that we're in now, in the fitness industry, it's all based around, aesthetics and how you look, and that's not me, and I wanted to move away from that, and that's why I got into the movement coaching side of things, just to help people feel and function better in their daily life.
Okay. Super cool. Who inspired you to get into kettlebell sport? Like at times what happens is we watch some videos, and at times we think that, even I can do this, and it looks very interesting. It looks very challenging. So who is your inspiration behind getting started with kettlebell sport?
Well, it was funny, like for me to want to, I just never saw any enjoyment in lifting weights. Like it just wasn't my thing. And through my journey of becoming a movement coach, I got a connection with Shannon and Cheryl from Gettlebell Sport Australia. And so they were in a competition, so I thought I'll go along and have a look, and just watching it was just amazing of what they could actually do, and just the excitement of watching the competition. And then I was watching a Russian guy lift, and he was throwing around 232 kilo kettlebells, and I was just in awe. So I went up to him and said, congratulations, that was amazing. He goes, oh, when's your flight? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, no, when are you lifting? I said, I don't lift. And he grabbed my forearms and my hands, and he goes, oh, no, you must lift. And I was like, no. And then I spoke to Cheryl and Shannon. They said, see, you should try it. And I was like, no, it's not my jam. And then he kind of set that little bee in my head. And so I contacted Cheryl and Shannon, and they put me in contact with a lifter in Melbourne, because they're in New South Wales. And so I kind of, just started there from it. And I haven't looked back since. It's been amazing.
Wow. Yeah, your journey has been amazing, and it's a long way to go for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think,
Interesting.
You go.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see women around 50 getting into the kettlebell sport. What challenge do you have, like based on the body type? We know that we have 3 body different types, like ectomorph, mesomorph. So you personally feel, do you choose the lift based on the body type, or do you choose the lift because you like it? And because everything is based on the performance.
Yeah. So my body type is, I'm an endo-ecto. That's who I
combination.
My combination,
okay.
Which is really good for, I guess, strength endurance, or an endurance sport,
Yes.
lifting and shifting. But for me, it was, I just found, I started with one arm long cycle.
Okay.
Because that's just kind of what they gave. I think that's kind of the stock standard, and I loved it. But I just, I was drawn to one arm jerk. That became a lift for me that I guess I love one arm long cycle. So for me, one arm long cycle, that feels like meditation and flow to me, because it's just this rhythmical motion, where one arm jerk challenges me, because it's very, very cardio based, and it's just up and down, and it challenges me, and that's what I love about it. I don't enjoy doing snatch that much. I have it in my training.
Okay.
But I think next year that's something I'm going to kind of delve into, trying to play around a little bit more with snatch. But I think it just depends on what feels comfortable for you to start with. I do the 2-arm event as well, and it's funny. I love 1-arm jerk, and I know I'm really good at that. But give me 2-arm jerk, and my body type does not. I think it's the way that my spine sits, or my I just
rack
don't.
Position, yes.
Your rack position, it just doesn't. It feels fine when I do 2-arm long cycle, but in that jerk position, it just feels awkward to me. Where 1-arm jerk feels, I can just find that flow in 1-arm jerk as well, and just go from there. So my friends laugh; they call me the big jerk, because that's all I do is jerk. So. Okay,
interesting. Yeah, everyone have a different thinking behind picking up the lift, because I've been interviewing many people and many athletes, and at times we have a different body type. Like the people having a good back would definitely go with some kind of a pulling movement. Mostly athletes having a good legs would probably choose to do the jerk, and it's an individual choice though. But everyone have their own different mindset before picking up the lift.
I think what my coach always said to me, anyone that's got a big hand would be really good at snatch.
Of course.
So you need to have a big hand for snatch. So
okay.
I think mine are okay, but I think it just, for me, I seem to, I guess, fit better with jerk.
Yes. At times with the age, our progression towards exercise drops. We see that if you're not able to maintain that kind of lifting lifestyle, and we see a decline. What is your mindset to, kind of hold that position and be more strong and progress every day? Because I personally feel is that mindset plays a very key role. So does your coach, or do you have kind of a self-talk that I'm going to progress? What is the entire understanding behind this?
I guess I have a different view on age, and I guess I look at me getting into kettlebell sport. Like, I've only been in it about 4 years now.
Okay.
So obviously started at a later age, and I guess I look at the women that are in the sport now, and I would say from 40 above, there are so many strong women lifting around the world that I'm completely inspired by. And I think, I guess I don't see age as a barrier. I think once you reach 40, that's when you should start doing this type of stuff, because as you age, the two things you lose is power and strength.
Yes.
And that's what kettlebell sport is. It's a power and strength sport. So it's perfect for anybody, to start at a later age. And, I've seen amazing men and women in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s lifting kettlebells.
Yes.
And I think as long as you work with your mobility and what your body can do, I don't think age should ever be a barrier when it comes to lifting. But I see kettlebell sport fantastic for, it's great for the young kids, but I see it's such a fantastic tool for older population, because it covers everything. It's cardio, it's mobility, it's full body, it's coordination, it's core stability, it's that strength, endurance, power, it's a mindset, everything kind of, it's such a beautiful circle that it combines everything that we need as we age. I think it's that's my take on it anyway.
Yes.
So
while lifting, say for example, if you're doing marathon, which is like a half marathon, what are those one or maybe two challenges you feel you really want to give up, but you progress and then you go ahead? So maybe some kind of challenge you feel by lifting. Maybe if you want to name one or two challenges. Yeah,
I think definitely there is that mental game, leading into that, because then you kind of, I completely changed the way I think about it. So for me, the time, it's, I guess when you start, you kind of go, oh my God, I've got 20 minutes to go. How am I going to cope with this? So that there's all these little mind games where I change the way that I think about it, and I break it down into, well, for 30 minutes, I've got 1 minute sets. So in that minute, that's all I focus on is that minute. And then, unfortunately things happen in the body, and you have to learn how to adapt and change or alter little things that you do. Like you may get some blisters on your hands, so you have to change your grip, or, the way, you rack, or, even when you jerk the bell, where's my hand, or, you might get cramps in your hands. So you've got to learn how to maneuver or how to work things, to get through. And I guess that's my strength, is my mental game, is how I start, how I think about it. And then, I break it, I go through all these like little math equations in my head, or I go first 10 minutes, the middle 10 minutes, and the last 10 minutes, or, there's all different ways, because every lift for me is completely different, because you don't know because your body changes every single day and every single lift. And you might think that you're feeling really good, and then all of a sudden something starts to happen in the lift, and you're like, oh, that's, I wasn't expecting that. So I guess you've always got to be prepared for things to happen, because you might think something will happen and it won't happen. And you get to the end of the lift going, oh, or, that was great. Or, it's always swapping and changing. So I guess for me, it's that, the challenge is being able to adapt when things do happen.
Yes. Interesting.
And knowing when you put that bell down before time, you don't get anything. So,
yes.
And you might as well just hang on, even if it's 1 rep every minute. It's about getting to that end, because for me, I have a motto that I give all my people I train, is finishing is winning. It doesn't matter where you finish, but how you finish is what makes you an athlete. And that you can finish last, but having people watch that fight for you to finish, that's, to me, that's winning. Because ultimately you're the only one lifting against yourself on that platform. Yes, there's other people in the competition, but it's you against you. Finishing is winning. So how you finish is up to the individual.
Absolutely. It's a very good viewpoint, Cindy, what you have given, especially when it comes to marathon lifting and people doing 30 minutes of lifting or maybe 1 hour of lifting is quite challenging for the athletes because you get bruises and you're tired, maybe you want to really give up. And you always think that, man, when this time is going to finish. And,
it does. There's this whole little narrative that goes on in your head. You're like, you have this whole self-talk that goes on, and it's crazy. And like, well, there'll be like the song will come on and you're like, oh, I hate this song. I'm going, oh, I like this song. Or someone walks past, and so there's all these different things that come in while you're, you know, while you're lifting. It's crazy. So,
yes, true that. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you. I would like to know if you follow any particular nutrition plan in general, or do you have something do you have supplements, or do you have some kind of a routine when it comes to nutrition or when it comes to the competitions? Your view on that?
I don't follow any type of, I guess, nutrition plan. The only thing I like to follow is just eating real food. So a balanced diet. If it's processed, I try not to eat it. So my food is very, I guess, basic in that it's just fresh fruit and veggies and good sort of, I guess, organic meat. You know, I try and be very mindful of my protein source or my meat source of where I get it from. You know, it has to be from. I don't like to go to the big farms. It has to be like, I guess, organic, where the animals are treated fairly, because I guess I think of it if that animal's stressed and then I'm eating their flesh, I guess. Am I taking on their, you know, that kind of tension? A little bit weird and wacky, I know, but that's kind of how I think. Just try and keep it simple.
Okay.
You know, I don't try and overcomplicate it. I don't really take supplements. Sometimes I'll take like a probiotic to have, you know, good gut health. Magnesium. Sometimes I do suffer from low iron, so occasionally I will have to take some iron supplements.
Okay.
But apart from that, I just try and keep it simple. I don't do protein shakes or anything like that. It's just I try and get everything I need from a good source in terms of just fresh fruit and veggies. Loads of water. I try and keep my water intake up. And
okay, super. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of supplements really help in kettlebell sport, though. I mean, of course, protein shakes, if you're deficient on protein, can be a very key ingredient to add on. But if you're getting a very rich protein from your food sources to suffice the need for the entire day, I think you even at times don't need any kind of supplements. So it's interesting. Cool. Do you have any negatives about kettlebell sport, like maybe injury, or maybe if you have come across something which is, oh my god, I never thought this is there with kettlebells? Because for example, if you're doing weightlifting, and if you know the chances of injuries are very high, especially when it comes to the wrist. Bodybuilding, you also know, or maybe in powerlifting also, you know, there are some kind of negatives, or when you really go up to the peak level, when you are going into a professional level lifting. So have you got any kind of negatives? Your view on that?
I think there's always positive and negative in anything that we do. But I think in terms of like injuries, the only time there's really injuries if you're not really looking after your body well. So if you're trying to lift heavier than what your body will allow you to do, unfortunately that's when injuries can occur. You know, understanding the motion and the movement. Okay. I see a lot of people wear belts when they lift. I don't wear a belt because I try and make sure my body, because I'm trained in movement. So I try and understand how the body moves, and using the breath lifting, you know, to sort of protect, you know, how the body works. I think, the only negative I would see is that if people just try and lift too heavy, that's when, you know, and not with good form, you know, if they don't understand the movement first, there's no point going up. You know, you want to make sure that you've got good movement before you load, and that's what I do with anything that I teach people. I did unfortunately injure myself lifting. at the Worlds in, I think it was just before Poland at Serbia. So, but I already had a knee problem from karate, and while I was lifting in I think it was in the last minute, I just let my knee fall in as I pressed up and did my ACL. But that was purely on me. It wasn't to do with kettlebell sport itself. It was purely me losing that mental focus on what my body was doing. You know, I was kind of relying on listening to other people rather than listening to myself and how my body was working, trying to push through things. So that for me would be the only downside that I could really see, is people going too heavy too quick. Yes, and I think that's for anything is letting the ego take over, and you know, it has to be the right progression to go from bell to bell to bell. Like, I've never allowed myself to go up a weight in a bell until I've reached a certain level. Yes. Yeah. You know, and in competition, not just in training, it has to be in a competition format before I will allow myself to move up to the next bell. So, and I won't enter in a competition if I don't think that I can reach my target. So that's my rules that I set for myself, and you know, I set a very high standard for myself. Nice. So to be able to do that. So yeah.
Yes, it's very good. Your importance of having a coach in your training. Everyone have their different views. Some people are self-coached, and some people would depend upon the coach. So what do you feel personally?
I think I believe you do need a coach, but you've got to find the right one for you. You know, it's a very personal thing to have, and like you're investing in yourself, so you want to make sure that you've got the right fit. Like my coach Simon, he doesn't like me calling him my coach. He just says, "No, I'm your mate." But no, he's a master. He knows me. He knows my body, and we train to, you know, where my body's at. He's absolutely brilliant. I can't fault him at all. And I think, you've got to find the coach that understands and works well with you, and not someone that's going to push you when you're not ready. It kind of has to be that nice progression. And it's okay to be able to do it yourself, but having someone, you know, having that second set of eyes to see where your technique is at. So where you think you're at, and where they can pick up those little nuances and little things to make you lift just that, you know, that little bit better, you know, in terms of, you know, saving time on your motion. You know, are you racking and then filling in the rack? Or do you have that flow in your motion? You know, are you working with your breath? Are you using your legs? All those type of little things where you think you're doing it okay, but just having someone to kind of go,
monitor it.
Yeah. And I guess everyone's different on how they like to do things. Some people need someone like if Simon doesn't give me my program, I won't do anything, because that's kind of not how I'm built. Where someone else is like, no, I've got this. You know, I've got an athlete who's like, she just wants to train all the time, where I have to pull her back a little bit because I don't want her to get injured or anything like that. Where, so it is. I think it's a very, very personal thing, and I do believe that you need one, but it's finding the right one for you. Whether it's someone that's your guide, or someone, you know, that's you know, that understands
who's really helping you to
you.
pull up. And
if they're not, you know, it's okay to kind of go thank you, and then try and find that right fit, because not everyone's suited to everyone. You know, we're not all the same. We all train different. How I would train, how you would train to get those same results is going to be completely different. So again, it's finding that right person that's going to help inspire you and guide you to get to where you are. If you constantly feel like you're being pulled down and stuff, well, they're not the right coach for you. They might be the right coach for someone else, but they're not the right coach for you.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Great. So, I would like to know some good records you have done in the terms of numbers. Maybe it might be in the competitions worldwide, or maybe it will be the competitions in Australia. So if you want to name few, which are the best numbers?
Yeah. I guess the one I'm most proud of at the moment is the 30 minutes with a 24 kilo kettlebell. At one of the GSA competitions, I got 450 reps, which I can go, was it 450? God, I can't remember now. Maybe it was 430. I think it was 430. I may have put down the wrong number there. Yeah, that was, I don't know of many females in the world that are actually lifting 24 kilos.
Okay, so you did jerk only? Jerk only?
I just did jerk only for that one.
Okay.
I have done 20 kilos with one arm long cycle for 30 minutes.
Okay.
And that was, I think it was 360 odd reps. I can't really remember. Because I guess in my head, I just go for my ranks.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of go, I look at what kind of roughly what numbers I need. So once I get to that in the comp, I know that I've ticked that and everything else is a bonus from here. In the traditional lifting, my just recently at the Australian Nationals, I did another thing that I was proud of is that I was the only person ever to get Master of Sport twice in the one competition. So I lifted one arm jerk for 24 kilos for 10 minutes and got 120 something reps. I can't really remember. That's really bad.
Okay.
And then I also did one arm long cycle with a 24 and got 97 reps. So 3 reps short of that 100. So
wow. So
yeah,
so like one of the great motivation I could actually pass on to the women athletes out here in India, and lifting 24 kgs for 30 minutes, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, we have men struggling here, and you are doing and setting the standards very high. So wow, congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And yeah, we are coming to the end. We would like to, if you'd like to give some good solid message to our viewers, especially the women out in India, like a message from you to all the kettlebell sport athletes, or even people who wants to get into kettlebells or who are into fitness.
Yeah, I guess I have a motto of mine which is be your own brave. So everyone's brave is different, and it's finding what inspires you and is going to challenge you to better who you are. You know, it's always seek perfection of character. You want to try and better yourself every time that you lift, and just to find, there's so many things I could tell people, you know, to inspire them, but especially for, I guess, women lifters is, you know, as soon as once you reach 40, you've really got to, you know, that's the time where you should be moving and should be lifting and you know, because you're training for life. It's not, you get to 40 and you kind of, it's all downhill from there. For me, it's like, you've just got to keep, you know, finding ways to, you know, it's being strong mentally and physically. And that's what we need. And, you know, there's, you know, I guess I look at me, I don't have children. So I have to be strong I have to have a strong body and a strong mind for myself to get myself to, because I'm hanging around till I'm 100. So I want to make sure that, you know, everything I do for myself now is, you know, is preparing me for that. And don't ever let anyone tell you you can't do anything. You know, there is always a possibility for you to be able to do something. I've spent my whole life in all my sports and all my career of people telling me, oh, you can't do that. You'll never do that. Don't even try and do that. But I've gone, that's what I want to do. So I've done that, and I've proved those people wrong. I don't do it out of spite to say, see, I told you so. I do it because it's something I want to do. And yeah, I guess that's a message, you know, go out there and do it. Yes. Believe in yourself that you can be your own brave. Go out there and do the things that you think you can do, and find the people that are going to support you to do that. And it's, you know, you've got to have that right, you know, tribe that's around you, and don't have those people around you that are going to pull you down. Have those people that are going to lift you up and go, oh, you want to do that? There you go. How can we get you there?
Yes, interesting.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, there's so many things I could tell people, but yeah, just believe in yourself and go and do the things that you feel you can do. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't.
Yes.
Rather, regardless of your age, you know, your gender, you know, all those type of things. I just see people as human beings, and those human beings should be able to do the things that they want to do and can do. It's like find how you can do that. So.
Yes. It's rightly said, actually. Someone's opinion cannot be your reality.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to understand ourselves first before we understand what people are thinking about us.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Interesting message and quite inspirational for the lifters out here, and even I'm inspired today. So thank you very much for spending time, Cindy, and I wish you good luck. It's very unfortunate that you can't travel to the World Championships. I'm hoping that 2022 will open up for the world,
I hope
and
so.
we all can meet up to any of the competitions and spend some good time and have a very good talk, which we did actually in Poland.
I'm looking forward to being able to be around my kettlebell lifting buddies again, because they're the ones that inspire me to better myself. Like I love the Swedish girls. They inspire me so much, and they're in next year I head into the 50-year-olds, and watching those amazing women lift, it just inspires me to. I know I've got to lift my game to get into the 50s, so and I love that inspiration that all the kettlebell, you've got your pros and they're amazing, but I love the age group, those people that inspire everyone to, we all love to lift each other up, and everyone's excited for everyone else's success, and that's I guess one thing I love about it, and getting excited to see everyone at the world. So I'm feeling very FOMO at the moment that I'm seeing everyone fly into Budapest and I'm not there. So
next year WKSF will be hosting in Portugal. I think you can opt for that.
I haven't seen it. I've been a bit too sad to kind of look at where it's going to be, because there was Italy. I love Italy, and all those different places I love to go. So I'm a bit sad about not being able to travel, but I'm looking forward to, I'll get all the worlds done this year, and then next year I'll go, right, hopefully we can open and this is where I'm going to go. It'll be exciting. It's exciting to see where they'll be. Because I think originally IKMF was supposed to be in Australia next year for the worlds. But I have a feeling that has changed. I don't know. So don't quote me on that. But originally we were supposed to have it in 22, because I thought it would be really cool for me to have because it's around where my 50th is. So I thought it'd be really cool to celebrate having the World Championships here.
Yes. Australia, I mean, there are many lifters, and GSA is really doing fine, right? Competitions regularly, and athletes are lifting, and you're having the standards setting up high. So
and I think that's a credit to Cheryl and Shannon in that they have set up this amazing group, and we've just been able to lift each year, and what they've been able to do for us to lift interstate and still be able to lift even though we can't travel, and our ranking table is really, it's hard. Like, it's above world standard to get on the team. You have to reach that standard, because they don't want to send just anybody overseas. They want to know that you've reached a certain standard, because you're representing your country and yourself. So you want to make sure that the standard is up there. We may not be as big as some of the other nations, but the lifters we have in Australia, it's just amazing. And like, I'm humbled watching them come up, and I'm humbled that I can inspire those people to come and chase me, because that's ultimately why I do what I do, is to set it for them. So when my records break, I'm like, that's awesome. That's all I do is why I set them, is so people can break them, to inspire to be better than what they were, and go, right, I've seen that, I want to go for it. And Cheryl and I, we were laughing a couple of weeks ago that, she'd break the record and I'd come and break it, and she'd break it, then I'd break it. And that's kind of cool, that you set that kind of, you've got that little,
that's like a healthy competition.
And I love that, and that's ultimately, that's, like, the medals are great, but that's not why I do it. I do it for my ranks, and I do it to inspire other people to lift. That's my sole purpose. The win is great, but that's just a side part of of everything else that I do. So
that's a good way to think about, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Because if you concentrate too much on the win, you're thinking. I learned it from karate. One of the senseis was, he always said, you've got to be present now. You can't think of what's to come and what's been. You have to be
present in now, current conditions.
Yeah, because if you're not, you're worrying about stuff that you don't know, you can't control.
Yes.
So it's always about being now, because that's all you can focus on.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the wins are just, as I said, they're just a byproduct of all those other things.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I still remember going to in Poland. So I remember in Australia, I had lifted. I got Master Sport World Class numbers, but I couldn't get the rank because it wasn't done in an international competition. So, and then I did my knee 2 weeks before a competition, and I was devastated because I thought all I wanted, I didn't care about winning. All I wanted was that Master Sport World Class, and I thought I had lost that. And I didn't touch a kettlebell until half an hour before the competition, and I lifted it and was like, oh, we'll see what happens. And I said to my partner, Silvio, I said, you just need to make sure I stay on this rep range. So every minute you need to count and make sure this is where I'm at. And I said, I don't want to know where I am in the competition. I think there were 7 girls in our division that year.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't care where I am. I just need to know. And he kept giving me the thumbs up, or he'd go like this, going, you're at one, because I thought he was saying you're number one. And I was getting angry at him. He's like, no, you're 1 rep ahead of where you want to be. So I'm like, okay. And then I got to the end of the competition. I was so happy. I was crying because I got my Master Sport World Class. Yes. And then people were coming up going, you won. And I was like, what? I won. But I got Master Sport World Class. That's all. Like the win was
focus.
my radar. That was my thing that I was training for. And so the win was like a bonus. And then I felt guilty because then there was my teammate next to me that was lifting, and I felt disappointed because I'd beaten her. But at the same time in my head, I was like, I got Master Sport World Class, and that's all I was excited about was that. And the amazing other women that were in the competition, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to do that under those circumstances. So
wow, inspiring.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you very much for your time. And it was superb interacting with you. And I'm sure the message is passed now to the lifters out here in India. And I really look forward to meet you in some of the competitions in 2022.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to it too. And I look forward to meeting some of the other Indian lifters as well. Yes, I love watching where they're coming. They're sort of, when I started, I really didn't see any, and I really see the sport growing in India now, and that's amazing to see, and I love that.
Yes, that's the sole purpose to get this sport to the top level with the high standards.
Excellent.
Great.
Yes. Well, I look forward to an Indian woman coming up and beating and taking my records from me. I would love that.
100%. Great.
Definitely.
Great. Thank you very much, Cindy. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure, Parag.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.